Hey folks, thanks for checking out a video on G4G. It's Napalm Dawn, and today we're going to discuss Secret Avengers as they were seen in Marvel Strike Force and use them kind of as a basis of comparison to Secret Avengers characters in some of the other Marvel games that feature them. So, right now in Marvel Strike Force, we are looking at a special version of Sam, which is the Captain America suit. Of course, that's what he winds up with at the end of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We have Sharon Carter. And we have Maria Hill. Now, I'll just get this out of the way right now since it's the easiest one to do. Maria Hill does not feature in any other game. She's not a character that is playable in any of the other Marvel games. However, she is a card in Marvel Duel, but she is really hyper specific in what she does, and we will get to that towards the end of the video because she doesn't really have any counterparts. So, taking a look at Sam, of course, this is a special version of Falcon where he is basically Captain America. This game does feature another version of Falcon, which is obviously related in a sense, but it's not exactly the same Captain America. A lot of the games will treat this as a uniform for Falcon or Sam, but in here, he's a completely separate character. So he has Soaring Shield Bash, which attacks the primary target for damage, 50% chance to clear positive effect, and then a bonus attack for damage, and he gains a deflect. Stars and Stripes, where he gains a taunt, gains deflect and counter, applies defense up to all allies, speed up to the Avengers and skill allies, grants an ability energy to non-summoned, grants an ability and ability energy to one or two non-summoned skill allies, and a 50% chance to gain an assist from a non-summoned skill. So as you can see here right away, he is pretty big on skill friends and somewhat Avengers, but ironically not Secret Avengers. So he fits in on an Avenger team. He would go good with Cap and others, specifically Black Widow, who is an Avenger and skill, would work out pretty well, and we're definitely going to talk on that in a moment. And we get Freedom Flight, which is just attacking enemies for damage, and he fills the speed bar for himself and all allies for each enemy remaining, so it's good to use that one early as you'll get more out of it. It's a little bit similar to Sam's other abilities in his regular Falcon. And Captain's Legacy is his passive, where on spawn he gains deflect, he gives deflect to skill allies. At the end of any turn, if this character has taunt and no deflects, he clears taunt and gains regeneration. So it's kind of a way of like bowing out of tanking when he needs to. He gains max health per Secret Avenger allies, and in raids, non-Secret Avenger skill allies gain health. So you can see he finally gets in with the Secret Avengers there, but for the most part, he is going for skills. That's where he's really big. And it kind of works out great because of the fact that right now the Secret Avengers only have 3 characters. If we were to take a look at Avengers, we can see he would pair off with exactly what you would expect, mostly the people from the movies, with also Nick Fury and Agent Coulson, and of course his normal counterpart of just regular old Sam with the exosuit. I'm going to touch upon the exosuit a little bit later. Now, regular Falcon is Hero Global Tech, Blaster Avenger, Power Armor, and he is a Saboteur. So while he is an Avenger, he does not have skill. If we wanted to really double down on those that Captain Falcon gets along with, and we want to do Avengers and skill, you can see that we are left with Black Widow, Hawkeye, Nick Fury, himself, Sharon Carter, and Maria Hill. So he gets a lot of benefit with the Secret Avengers. He essentially triples up with Sharon and Maria, who are the only ones that are available to him right now amongst the Secret Avengers. That's pretty good. If we take a look at Sharon Carter, she sort of has her power broker getup, but she's still flagged as a hero. She is an Avenger, and she's also Saboteur. She has Baton Strike, which attacks a primary target and applies slow. If she's in a raid and has Sam as an ally, she reduces the speed bar on the primary target. Close quarters combat, attacking the primary target for a huge chunk of damage, applies ability block, which is really good, and defensive down. Then she goes to adjacent targets and applies defense down to them too. Only 4 energy, really, really good. Except it does start cooled a little bit, so it would take 2 turns to get there unless she gets energy. And then no mercy, clear 2 positive effects on the primary target, attack for a medium amount of damage and apply a slow, and then she chains, clears positive effects on the chain, applies a slow, huge amount of focus for it, and then her passive is ends and means. If she has a deflect, she gains a whole bunch of focus. On self, Secret Avenger, or skill ally turn, 50% chance to apply an offense up. In raids, this will always occur. In raids, when an enemy drops low, she applies disrupted. And in raids, an increase of damage for herself and all Secret Avenger allies. So she doesn't work with skill and Avengers the way Sam does, but she works specifically within the confines of Secret Avengers. And then Maria Hill, close range support. She has a chance to apply deflect to the most injured non-summoned ally. If it's a Secret Avenger, they also gain regeneration, bunch of damage, and here at the end she will always apply the deflect. Overwhelming firepower summons a shield trooper. She gives offense up, defense up, and death proof to the summoned shield trooper, so you can't cheat and bring your own. Attack a primary target for damage, gain the assist from all shield trooper allies, which is pretty neat. Apply defense down. If she's got Sharon Carter, she gains a whole bunch of focus, and then here at the bottom she will do 3 shield troopers and more damage. Shield care package, which is a lot like the Marvel Duel aspect of her. She clears a negative effect from self and all Avengers and skill allies, so kind of like Sam, she again starts joining in on the Avengers and the skills. She applies a deflect and immunity. There's a heal and a heal of skill allies, and she attacks all enemies in this. And then eventually at the end clears all negative effects from self, Avengers, and skill. And Fury's right hand, on self or any ally block, 50% chance to heal the most injured ally. In raids it always occurs. She gains resistance for herself and Secret Avengers. And in raids she gains additional for herself and Secret Avengers. And then eventually she just starts increasing her healing there. So she's really, really considered a support on this one, but she's also skill. Kind of interesting to have skill and support. She does fit in with S.H.I.E.L.L, and of course the Saboteurs. So you can see here, Sharon kind of sort of like her power broker self. Really just looks out for the Secret Avengers, where Cap Sam and Maria Hill work with a whole bunch of different factions, the factions that they've been part of the whole way through. If we were to look in Future Fight, Sharon Carter is there with 2 uniforms. She has Modern, which is sort of Black Widow-esque, a very, very early character that I had. And then she has the Civil War uniform, and then that's it. That's where they stopped with her. This is the Sharon Carter that we know. She is a superhero in here. She's not a villain, so there's no part of the power broker aspect. Even though this game does have skins for Falcon and the Winter Soldier based off of their show, she is speed in this game. Really a nowhere character. Sharon has no meta. She's not part of anything. However, a kind of sort of variant of her, Sharon Rogers, which is in this universe, where Captain America was never frozen and Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter have a kid, which becomes Sharon Rogers. Sharog has been an absolute killer since the day she was dropped into the game. If you go all the way back to the Captain America 75th anniversary uniform, which is how she launched in the game, that's when all of the Marvel games gave us a whole bunch of different Captain America uniforms, like Marvel Avengers Alliance, got Knight America. We had Steampunk Cap in MAA 2. We had Civil Patriot, I think he was, in Contest of Champions. We got Sharon Rogers in this game. She then proceeded to Starlight, and then she went on to Darkstar, and then Star Knight armor. Kicks ass basically in every uniform she ever gets. Starlight changed her from melee to a little bit more ranged, but then she started gaining the melee back with Darkstar, which is a really cool uniform. Love the shield and the kind of glaive look to it. And then Star Knight goes more back towards a spear, kind of a lancer aesthetic. She's meta everywhere she goes, except she doesn't really have too many alliance battles that she gets into, because there is no female blaster day. So she doesn't really have any high-powered ones that she gets into, but she kicks ass in whatever content you decide to put her in. So if I set it back to, if we keep it on speed, we can see here Winter Soldier is here, and he does have a show uniform. I haven't gotten it, but you know, it's Bucky, a little bit more refined. He's got some gold in the arm. He's cleaned up a bit based off of you know, compared to his Winter Soldier appearances. And this game does have the Captain America suit for him. And if we were to look for Falcon, which I don't think I have a particularly good Falcon here. Yeah, my Falcon is nowhere. So here's Falcon. He has his Winter Soldier uniform, all new Captain America, which actually I should equip. He has his Civil War uniform, and then he has his TV one. Now, believe it or not, this is a little bit different than the other one. So the all-new Captain America has actually been around in the game for a while, and they likely tied that to the comics. However, then the show came out and essentially pulled the comic uniform in, so they were like, uh-oh, it's got enough changes over here. This one is not related to the show. Marvel Legacy is actually the original one. It goes more towards his non-exosuit variant of it. If we did take a look at the Secret Avengers within Marvel Avengers Alliance, we will see the roster is absolutely huge for the people who can carry the Secret Avengers tags. We had Agent Venom or AGV, Beast, Black Widow, Captain America, Captain Britain, Hawkeye, Hulk, Mockingbird, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, Richard Rider, aka Adult Nova, Spider-Woman, Taskmaster, Thor, J-Thor, Jane Foster Thor, Valkyrie, and War Machine. So the Secret Avenger list in Marvel Avengers Alliance is so much bigger than any of the other games. The Secret Avenger roster in Marvel Strike Force is really only limited to 3 people. We're not even too sure who really the next 2 are going to be. If we're going to compare everybody directly, the only one we can actually compare is Falcon, because we don't have a Sharon Carter in this, and we definitely don't have a Maria Hill. So when it comes to Marvel Avengers Alliance, Falcon had Swoop, Sky High, Dive Bomber, and Ground Control. We have to go to the website to actually get the tooltips. If you notice, they don't actually consider Sam a Secret Avenger over here. There were some Secret Avengers villains, and down here in non-game canon, he is not a Secret Avenger in Marvel Avengers Alliance, nor is Bucky. But they know he is outside of it, which is why he's in this category. So, of course, he was a infiltrator. He had flying and he had survival training, which was a little obnoxious. Survival training is grants all party members damage reduction by 50% while their health is over 80%. So Falcon was a little bit tough to take down. He had swoop, which gave the team buffs, and then lead the charge, where all allies get an extra turn next round, but he loses a turn. Sky High, which is similar to what he does in the movies. He performs a counterattack against the next single target or area attack. That's combat awareness. And then he also gains Nimble, which is a chance to avoid melee and ranged attacks. And he does Wild Shots, which has a low chance to hit. So this is kind of one of the parts in the movie where he has the guns come up from his waist and he shoots them. Dive Bomber is a stun at 60% chance and it gives them exhausted. And then you had Ground Control, where all allies gain Epiphany, where their next shot is a critical hit. And Friends in High Places, chance to summon a random shield agent when an ally is attacked. So it's kind of similar to his basic Sam in Marvel Strike Force, and it really does not go into Captain Sam, which is more of a protector rather than an attacker. And for an infiltrator, he was really obnoxious. He showed up a lot in PvP. Really tough to take down because of the survival training, but once you got him below that 80% mark, he was pretty easy. Above that, you really needed to bring a scrapper to get him. Being flying, he was above ground attacks too. Swoop was a pretty good buff, although I don't know if he would grant the buff if you somehow pulled Falcon into an attack. If you made him join in an attack, I don't know that the buff went out, but that would be actually a really good way of abusing Falcon, is to make him join in on attacks or follow up or counter with swoop, and that would be pretty solid. I maybe want to think he countered with Sky High, which would make more sense, because if he did do that, it would be an AoE counter, which would be really, really solid. He would give everybody combat awareness, which I don't think is nearly as strong as giving everybody an extra turn and those buffs. I'd have to see him in combat again to see what he actually counters with. So there you go, guys. There is the Secret Avengers compared among several games. I'll pop in Marvel Duel real quick and I'll show you Maria Hill and what exactly she does. And there is definitely a great deal of similarity between Marvel Strike Force, Maria Hill, and how she appears in Marvel Duel. As that loads up, don't even bother asking me for any updates for Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux. If there are updates to be told, you will definitely you'll hear about it. What you saw there briefly was me and my copy of Beta 2. Beta 2 is just a little bit easier to navigate for the team stuff than Beta 3. Hopefully we will be getting Beta 4 sometime soon, but that's really hard to predict at this point. Goofy has decided he really wants to make sure when the betas go out they have a ton of work in them, rather than just making minor increments when he goes up from one beta to the other. Alright, so if we look over here at S.H.E.L.L., Maria Hill is right over here. Your other support, so yellow means support, blue means guard, red means attack. So your other support S.H.I.E.L.D. characters and other support Avengers gain action time and puncture. So if you look at support S.H.I.E.L.D., there's only one other support S.H.I.E.L.D., and that's Nick Fury. So she really only helps out one other S.H.I.E.L.D. character. If you were to look at the Avengers, Scarlet Witch get a little bit of love, Black Widow, Captain Marvel, and Iron Man. So she does okay with the Avengers. But with other S.H.I.E.L.D. characters, she only really assists Nick Fury, giving some of those other S.H.I.E.L.D. Avengers, or excuse me, support Avengers categories and action time and puncture. That's really solid. Here, he gains it on his first turn anyway, but that means he'll continue to have puncture while he attacks. Black Widow would be super good with puncture because she steals armor and power from people she attacks. So if she gets to steal a good amount of armor and then actually punches right through it, that's really, really good. And then Captain Marvel, I don't know if she would get 3 action times with Maria on the field. Her own +1 and then a +1 from Maria. And, you know, giving her puncture when she gets up to 48 damage is really, really solid. And then if that puncture applies to this skill damage that she does over here, forget it. I mean, she's wiping the board with that point. So Maria Hill has some limited uses, but as you can see, much like Strike Force, she kind of plays a support role rather than anything offensive. So there you go, guys. There's the Secret Avengers across a couple of the Marvel games that we've got out now. I never really cover Contest of Champions. I'm sure some of them are there too, but I don't really ever cover it, so I don't really know how many Secret Avengers are in that game. And then Future Revolution and does not have any Secret Avengers, and Realm of Champions does not either. You do get a Winter Soldier uniform for Captain America, but that's really about it. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and looking forward to giving you any Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux updates whenever we actually see them. Thanks a lot, folks. Have a good one.